Alright folks, my name is Tom Vasel. I'm lead reviewer of the Dice Tower, and it's possible that you have someone in your life who is a gamer and they like to play strategic games. Well, today that's what I'm going to talk to you about, some gifts that you can get for the gamer. Someone who loves to play games, here's 5 of them. Today we're going to be taking a look at strategic games. Now I've kind of broken this into 2 categories. The other one I'll be posting tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be taking a look at games with very strong themes. Games that, you know, someone who's maybe a fan of Star Wars or comic books, the kind of games that they would like. Today I'm going to look at games that people who just like the strategy of games would be interested in. And so I have 5 games for you, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about them in order of complexity, perhaps. So the first one we're going to talk about, the lower end of the complexity level, is going to be this tower building game, Firenze. Now in this game, you're going to be building towers. I mean, you're going to be physically building towers. So that's one feature of this game that is a lot of fun. The game comes with a whole bag of little tower blocks of different colors, and you'll be stacking them together and building towers. You're trying to build towers of different heights to score points. You will score those points by taking cards over the course of the game, and on top of these cards, there's going to be different blocks. But if you don't want a specific card, you can skip over it to take a different card. Perhaps one card has 2 purple blocks and 2 blues, and that's what I really want. But the 3 cards in front of that don't have blocks I care about. Well, to skip those cards, I must drop blocks on them from my own supply of blocks. So as time goes by, a card that perhaps nobody wanted is going to have so many blocks on it that you're just going to be forced to take it or tempted to take it because just of how much is on it. And each card has a special ability. Sometimes the cards are bad. And again, you want to skip over that, but maybe if there's 10 building blocks on it, that would be a much more difficult process. So the game has the idea and visual effect of building towers, which is fun, but also the strategic thing, do I take a card or not? This game works just as well with 2 players as it does with the full complement of 4. It doesn't take very long at all. 45 minutes gives you the feel of the towers. The way the cards come up in order gives it some replayability. It's an excellent little game that you may not have heard of, but one that I would recommend, Firenze. The next game just came out recently, and it is a big, heavy game, and this is Francis Drake. Francis Drake is a game in which players are going to be, basically they're playing 2 different kinds of games in here. The first game is a game in which you load your ship with supplies, and you will be going through a town collecting different supplies, whether those supplies are cannons or sailors or goods, and there's different supplies that you need to get, and perhaps you need to get special things for your ship, and you'll be doing this by moving through a town. But the interesting thing is, on your turn, you can move as far through the town as you want to, but you can never go back. Any shops that you skip, you can't go back to them. So if there's a shop I really want to go to, I can skip ahead of everyone else and beat them to the punch. The problem is I might be missing some good shops in between. So you have to kind of balance, how far ahead do I want to jump to get the best stuff, or do I want to go slower and not get as much, not get good stuff, but get more things. So that's a pretty interesting balance. Then once everyone has gotten their loaded ships, you go to the second half of the game in which players will be taking their loaded ships and sailing around and attacking Spanish galleons and doing other things using the stuff that you got from the first round, but also trying to outsmart other people as you bluff as to where you're going to go in the game. You go through these 2 halves of the game 3 times over the course of this, and whoever has the most points. Points are come from attacking Spanish forts and towns and galleons, also from trading goods with different people and collecting. And so there's a lot of different variations here, but at the same time, to teach this game and learn it isn't very long at all. It's an excellent game, heavy in the sense of physically heavy, but the components, the beautiful quality of it is one that I recommend. That's Francis Drake. Another game that has beautiful components and that's very fun is a game called Kemet. Now in this game, you are in the mystical land of Egypt. Kemet brings back to mind, in a sense, several of the games that I played as a kid, maybe Risk or Axis and Allies, in which you had armies attacking each other. But this game is not necessarily in that same vein, because in this game, attacking is more deterministic. You'll be using cards to attack each other, but more importantly, the game focuses on building up your armies and giving them special abilities. At the beginning of the game, there are piles of special abilities that you can buy for your army, and so you're increasing your mystical power in 3 different pyramids to be able to buy these. Some of the abilities give you defensive abilities, some give you offensive, some just give you special things that you can do. And so while attacking is certainly a big part of the game, and the game certainly encourages attacking, the game also gives you ideas and things to do to build up your own pyramids, protect your own pyramids, go and find temples on the board and control them. There's a lot of back and forth. It's not the kind of game where you can hole up in the corner. But my favorite thing about this game is it also allows you to summon gigantic monsters, perhaps a huge stag beetle as part of your army, or a giant snake, or a huge elephant. And when you get these, they're giant creatures that roam around the board and fight. The game is also fairly quick. I mean, for a strategic game, 90 minutes to 2 hours, plays just as well with 2 players as it does with the full complement of 5. And the components inside are just absolutely stunning. This is an amazing game. It is certainly one of my favorites. That's Kemet. The next game we'll be talking about is not yet in stores, but is going to be there very soon, and that is Caverna. Now, Caverna, called The Cave Farmers, is a reworking of a very popular game that many people have heard of called Agricola. Agricola was a game about building a farm. Caverna could be very truthfully called Agricola 2.0 because they're very similar. In this one, you're also farming, but you are dwarves who are farming, and you also live in a cave and mining in a cave. Now, before you turn off this video and say that sounds like a very boring prospect, I have to say that this is easily one of my favorite games I've ever played. It is chock full of fantastic components as you get different livestock and different fruits and vegetables and grain, and you are mining, and you can upgrade in different ways, and you build your farm/mine in ways that nobody else is doing. And that's where this game just really works fantastically. As you play it, each time you are going to build a very cool little setup in front of yourselves that's different than everyone else. It is what we call a worker placement game, because you'll have a couple dwarfs and you'll send them out to different spots. And you might send them here and get a pile of wood. You might send them here and get some stone, or there to get some sheep, there to build your farm up more. And when you go to a spot, nobody else can go to that same spot. So this brings back some tension between the players, and as time goes by, you can have kids and recruit more dwarves to your cause so that you can go to more spots. The game will evolve over the course of the 12 rounds of play. And when the game is over, you will compare score, which comes from many different factors, but you also have the satisfaction of looking down and seeing this complete thing that you've done. Caverna is an absolutely amazing game. It is an expensive game. But it is worth the price because, first of all, it is chock full of great components inside, but also has a game that you will be able to play dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of times. That's Caverna. Then the last game that we're going to talk about today is the heaviest one. As I said, I was going from small as heaviest, but this is a game that has gotten a lot of good buzz, and people really enjoy it, and that is Terra Mystica. Now, I said I was going to end with the most complicated one, and that is Terra Mystica, but many people are really getting enjoyment out of this one, and even though it is a year since it's been released, it is one that people really enjoy. Each player in Terra Mystica is going to control one of several races. So, for example, you might have the halflings, while someone else has the alchemists, while someone else is playing the giants, someone else is playing the engineers. Now, if you're worried about a fantasy theme, don't be so concerned, because the theme is kind of just, I mean, it's there, but it's not a heavy dose of fantasy. What you're doing over the course of this game is you're trying to terraform the land to build it the way that you want to. You'll be using a board that you have here, manipulating magic points, but also trying to score points by placing trading houses and strongholds and temples on the board. As the game progresses, progresses, there are various ways to score that will present themselves, and you'll have to use the special ability of your people. Each person has a special ability, a different starting setup, and so there really is multiple ways for this game to progress. This game has a very strong thought process to it. There's a lot going on. As you place these things on the board, they will produce different resources of different types, and you're also trying to increase on different tracks over the course of the game. You're trying to make sure that you're near other people, because being close to other people gives you benefits. At the same time, being near other people means you're competing for the land. This is a game that has a huge amount of free playability and has delighted people for the past year. It's just done really well. And so while this is certainly going to be a game that you probably won't rock on your first setting, you certainly will be probably interested enough to continue to go on. And so if you know a hardcore gamer, this is an excellent gift to get them, Terra Mystica. So those are 5 games. I hope that you have some ideas now of what to get, folks. There you go, 5 great games. All of these are available online at CoolStuffInc.com. Our sponsor, you can find cheap prices, deliver everywhere, so check them out. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. This is my daughter Ruby, and we'll be seeing ya.